for her to just offer up the excuse, hey, I seen some people I had seen for a long time. Like, bitch, what the fuck they got to do with me? Like, I don't know, talk to them after work, but you're here to serve me. Like, you're the one who chose to get this job, grandma. Fucking, I don't care who the fuck you see. Come over and do your job.
Mikey P here from the We Speak English Good podcast. Go check out my friends at the Usual Saints podcast. You won't regret it. Now let them hear it, Nature Boy.
Welcome to a new episode of the Usual Saints. I'm Mike Deere here this week with Saint and Jeremy. So I guess everyone's here. I know I say that every time. I always feel weird. It's because Vinny's not here. Because I used to always have to do it when we had the four of us. It would never really be the four of us. So it's weird to me, but Saint's right. It's good to get that name recognition out there. Like, I'm the white guy with the Steelers jersey. Jeremy's the uglier white guy. And Saint's the other guy.
Wow. Like the descriptors there. Jeremy, are you okay with those descriptors? His descriptor he's using?
I'm not real worried about Mike finding me attractive. Mm. He's had his moments with guys. I wasn't the guy. I'm happy about that. He's had his attractions.
There was no attraction. If you're talking about that thing in high school, that had nothing to do with me.
Which one? Him hitting on you or your parents thinking you were gay? Which one are you talking about?
No, the thing under the bed.
Oh. Uh-huh.
I was about to say maybe we should be adding some things to the topic list this week.
You've heard that story before, Saint, right?
No.
Just one time in high school. It was experimental phase.
I don't feel like it's any sort of like legality thing, especially since we're not using names. But like, there was one time when I was 17, Jeremy? You weren't there, were you?
I was not invited.
Okay.
You weren't in the room, right, Jeremy, or were you?
No,
it was weird. Go ahead.
So we were on a trip to New Smyrna Beach, and we were staying at like my aunt's place or something like that. And I think I had 3 of my friends with me, and myself, and might have been 4. And so this chick I liked was trying to, I think she was kind of my girlfriend at the time, but she would never say it. She was on top of this fold out couch with this other guy. And so I got sad about that. And there wasn't a lot of space in this place. It's basically like a condo, and there's like 20 people staying in it. So I go underneath the bed, which probably admittedly was a weird place for me to go. Not that anything was going to go on, but why was I there? I guess the space issue, and plus me being sad. And then so this other guy comes up behind me underneath the bed, and he's like, massaging my shoulders, trying to comfort me. He's a friend of mine, And then he puts his then he puts his hand down the back of my pants for some unknown reason, or tries to. And admittedly, and listen, I get it. Like, even if this person wanted to do anything, why would they go down the back of my pants? Doesn't make any sense. But that's what happened, at least as far as I can recall. I mean, it sticks out in my memory. I have a pretty shitty memory. I think that's what happened. But so I climbed out of space, like they say in like movies, like I probably climbed out of space this big. I'm still a big guy. Like I'm squeezing out like this, like I'm crawling through the air ducts in Die Hard or something. And
all I can think of right now is all the memes online of, women are like, yeah, my husband said he would give me a back rub, and then shows the 4 kids. That's, Mike was getting a back rub. That's what was happening. That's where they were headed.
So, I mean, there's not much more to it. I went out into the hallway to be like, what the fuck? And then he followed me out and was like trying to like talk to me. And I'm like, dude, I think I'm good. And then I drove home on no sleep. And I went from the right lane because I was messed up. I was no sleep. And I woke up in the median still driving, and I was like, oh shit. Luckily I didn't die. But so that's my exciting tale, Saint. I think so. I mean, I guess I am in hell because I see you every week on this thing.
Wow. So you're saying your first semi-gay experience caused you to drunk drive home and possibly kill yourself. That's
He didn't say that was
interesting. True. Very true. Or the last.
Yeah, that's true as well.
It was both the first and the last, and it wasn't wanted, and it wasn't a drunk driving. I was sleep deprived, which is worse, they say. But yes.
So wait, can you continue on this? So did you have any more interactions with this guy, or was this it?
No, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, no. He went to my high school. We were on a fairly regular basis. Oh, and to Jeremy's point, so I would go over to this person's house. Not a lot, but I go over there sometimes, and he had a boyfriend later after that. And then I would tell my parents I was going over to his house because in actuality, I was going over to that same girl's house. And so instead of telling them that I was going to the girl's house, I was going over there. So as Jeremy likes to make fun, go ahead, Jeremy. You know,
wait,
like to say.
This sounds like the plot of a sitcom. Like, no, I was going over to the girl's house I wanted to, but my parents knew it was the gay dude's house. So my parents thought I was gay, and it was then hilarity ensued. It sounds like a plot like a 90s sitcom. I
mean, there was some hilarity that ensued a few months after that, but I guess we won't get into it.
Well, go on.
I mean, no. We weren't really going to that house.
That would identify the people, but yeah, there were some things that may have been some criminal activity. So as Jeremy said, it's a good thing I actually wasn't going to the house.
Okay, all right.
And this has been Mike's Me Too movement. Hashtag Me Too, or as you know, the older generation says, "Pound Me Too."
That's clever. I like that. I never heard that before. It works as a horrible pun, and you know
it is a horrible hashtag to make. That symbol, Me Too, is pound Me Too. I mean, really, to the older generation, that's what it says. That's how they read that.
I never thought of it like that until you said it. You being the older generation.
I've seen it online before. But the older generation, I mean, when you were a kid, that was the pound sign, right? Or the pound key. That was not a hashtag. It was a pound key.
It is the pound key. So that's my story. Any other questions without getting into specific saint? Anything else you want to know about that time frame of my life?
That's. So I mean, if you don't want to get any more specific, that's cool.
I know everyone involved, and the other part of this story that I really like is, you know, well, she was kind of my girlfriend. Absolutely no one that knew them thought they were dating. She would not admit to hanging out with him. She was embarrassed of him. That's the only thing I could assume. Or she just liked the attention she got from other guys, so she didn't want to admit she had a boyfriend. I prefer to think she was embarrassed of him, but that's just because, you know, it's Mike.
Yeah, that's fine.
Man,
she ain't watching it
or listening.
No. This is like getting into some deep trauma therapy stuff, eh?
I mean, it could indeed, but yeah.
The best part is Mike wasn't even the worst, one obsessed with her. There was worse people. They just,
really,
had a couple of them on watching. At least 4 or 5.
And this is in Florida, right? Was this girl particularly I don't know, I guess pretty? Was she just,
no.
great personality, or what are we talking about here?
No.
I don't know how to use the word, what to say.
Listen,
she was willing to hang out with us.
I guess that's
she was what?
Willing to hang out with us. I mean,
she was one of those.
She was one of the crowd.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean,
back, we didn't have many girls hanging out with us, did we? He was about the only one that would regularly go out and go to the movies or bowling with all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys? I mean,
we're party people. Can't you tell?
Yeah. I could tell.
I wasn't the big stud I am now back then.
The thing big stud about you is how fat you got.
Bitch. Who is talking here?
Uh-oh.
I didn't say it.
I can pull up your picture. I'm going to pull up your picture. You guys go ahead and talk. I'm going to find that picture. That one I love to share.
I don't know what you're talking about. Moving on.
I'm going to pet that one from when you were in college.
No, sitting on my bed?
Yeah, that one.
Sitting in my dorm room. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. You had a neck at that point.
Wow.
Go fuck you. I mean, it's really good to see you today.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thanks.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the big 4-2, 4-3?
Yeah, 42, yeah.
4-2. Nice.
Sounds right.
Yeah, 42. He always hits it right before I do, a few months before. He likes to point it out, but he's still born the year before, so whatever. Did you do anything fun for your birthday?
No, watched some football yesterday. We're gonna go see a hockey game later this week. About it.
What hockey teams? The Panthers?
Yeah, they're playing Sabres Thursday night.
Panthers are actually pretty good this year. They're like number 1, number 2 in the league. I don't keep up with NHL that much, but just, roundabout, they're on my like favorite. I guess I put them as my favorite hockey team in all the apps or whatever, and like just keep getting alerts saying, "Hey, the Panthers are good.
Really?
Hey, keep winning."
Not
yeah,
Tampa?
No, the Panthers, they're like number 1 and 2 in all of NHL, the
No,
points wise. And
you're not a Tampa fan.
oh, me, man, I'm here trespassing like all the other. Someone that made a good point, man. Tampa is like the Florida of Florida, and it can be even more true. It's like everyone who moves here and everyone lives here is just, I don't know. I may not be living here much longer. I just can't take the Florida-ness of the Tampa Bay area. So, yeah.
But it's nice, though. You get the big city aspect. I totally forgot. Okay, so I don't know, for work, you guys know I went out for work last week. I went across the state to the West Coast, and I thought I was going to Fort Myers. I wound up going to Clearwater, which apparently is right near Tampa.
Yeah, Clearwater's right across the bay. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I should have hit you up. I didn't even think about it. I was busy working 14-hour days anyway, but I was like, whatever. For next time, I'm hoping to go back next month and go hang out and do some more work over there. So I'm gonna hit you up if I get over that way.
Yeah, no doubt.
What was I saying? I forgot what I was talking about. Jeremy, what were you saying? Something boring?
I don't know.
No, okay. I was gonna bounce off what you said, but I forgot. Anyway, so yeah, that's my gay experience, if you want to even call it that.
We can call it that. I'll call it that.
but there's nothing. I don't like guys.
Sure.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing, but I don't like to talk about it, and we have to keep people's, names and stuff, but it's okay.
I don't really discuss high school at all anymore. All right, let's see. We should bounce off the. We can talk about more life experiences, because I wanted to talk about bad doctor experiences. There was a reason I brought this up.
We figured. We go ahead.
So I wanted to see what you guys thought. Now it's an old experience. It's probably.
I thought this was going to be the Chad moment of the week when I saw it on the list, but we'll see.
No. Do you want to go there first? You usually close on that.
Bad doctor.
All right. So it's probably about 10 years ago at this point. So I don't know how to explain this, and I still don't have a doctor medical explanation for it. So I'm going to just explain to you guys what was happening. So back then, 10 years ago or so, a few times over a period of, weeks or something like that, every time I would have an orgasm, I would have what felt like lightning in my head. I had to fall on the bed. It was intense. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I thought I was having an aneurysm or something like that. So it happened a few times, because I, of course, tried it again to see if it was a one-time thing.
Does this tie into the guy underneath the bed?
Mm-hmm.
Does any of this tie into each other, or no? Okay, just
no. Never got the happy ending there.
Although Will Smith just had something like this, but go ahead. I'll let you finish, and I'll talk about.
Well, I went to a neurologist after it happened a few times. So I was like freaking out, thinking I was dying, and I went to the local neurologist, and it was a female neurologist. One, it was what was available, and two, I don't care if it's a female doctor. I have no problem. It's a medical professional, right? So I get in the room. And I am just waiting for the doctor. And then the nurse does her thing, goes outside. And then I hear, right before the door opens, I hear someone talking in the hallway, and it's the fucking doctor. And she's like, I don't know why these guys come to me with these things. It's because you're a fucking neurologist, bitch. That's why I'm here. Like, I'm trying to find out if I'm dying or not. So like, just and she didn't think I heard her, but like, just she came in and she did her job. And I think I got an MRI and everything was fine for now, or CAT scan, whatever it was. But like, that's just, and I never got an explanation. So like, just, I don't understand why someone would say that. You're a fucking doctor, but But I don't know. It's just like I had discussed this with someone the other day and they were like, wow, that's kind of fucked up. I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. So I put it on the list to talk about just because I had never talked about it on the show before.
Did you find out who they were talking to?
It was the nurse, like, because I could hear like two voices. And so, like, and the doctor came in right after, so like the nurse was filling her in on whatever because they're the ones who come in or to help out. And so it was really weird. You know what I mean? Like, I get you don't want to treat some things, but at the same time, like, I'm coming to you for help. If you didn't want to like take me, I did tell you what it was.
To a neurologist?
No, well, I think I went straight there. I don't think because I think I was under the care of a cardiologist at the time. I don't remember. But yeah, so I did not love that doctor experience. And she's still practicing here in Florida.
Now, see, I'm surprised she took an appointment from you, not being a referral or something like that, because usually a specialist like that likes to be a referral so that they don't waste their time in their minds because the other doctor thinks it's something they need to go to you or, go through. And at least she was talking to the doctor or the nurse, because otherwise it'd be a HIPAA thing for me. Hey, what the hell are you discussing why I'm here with someone who doesn't need to know why the fuck I'm here? That's just...
I assume it was the nurse, honestly. Maybe it wasn't, but I don't care. It was 10 years ago at this point. Again, my memory's hazy, but that's one of the things that sticks out to me. That stuck in my craw so bad that I still can recall it to this day. So. But
so
I don't know.
What did the board of directors say when you complained?
I did not. Back then, I wasn't doing all that. I just left without a resolution, and that was about it.
So before I come in, one, did you ever get a diagnosis, or did you ever get this fixed, or is this still an issue, or what?
Nope. It happened like 2 or 3 times over. I don't know. I forget when I dared to do it again because I was afraid I was going to die. And then one time it just didn't happen because I was basically self-experimentation. So it didn't happen. I'm like, yay, I'm not going to die. So
I have one more quick question. What did WebMD say was happening to you when you looked it up?
I don't remember. See, that's one of the things that doesn't stand out to me.
I know you Googled this shit.
I probably did. I mean, come on.
Listen,
if it felt like lightning in your head, wouldn't you automatically go to like aneurysm or blood clot or something like that? That was my thought. I didn't know what else to think. So
I just think that you tried it again right away just to see what would happen again.
Not right away. I think I waited like a week or something like that. That was a long week.
Having an aneurysm. I'm not going to call a doctor though for a week, and then I'm just going to try again.
I might have called the doctor. I don't remember the exact time frame, but I basically, since I didn't have any diagnosis, it was basically me experimenting on myself. So, that's it.
By experimenting, we're talking about masturbation, correct? We just, I don't know. It seems like we're trying to tiptoe around what we're talking about here. This is what you mean, right?
Oh no, I was jerking off. It's fine. I got it.
Okay. Yeah, right.
There's no shame in it. No. But no, yeah. Listen, that's how you're gonna. The only way to figure out if it's gonna happen again. Yeah, I could, have sex, but that involves a lot more work. So I figured might as well just to give it the old heave ho and see what happens. But that's me.
Well, going with yours to talk about situation for a bit. One, I guess, is 2 things. First, doctors, nurses, everyone, they're still human beings. So they still have, the same annoying tics. Maybe she was just having a bad day. Maybe it was just she had seen a lot of these cases before and she just was being annoyed. But I think the second part of it, what you're really talking about is professionalism and how it seems that, I don't know about you guys, but there does seem to be an overall lack of professionalism that seems to be going into, relative jobs. You would think that professionalism is, paramount to doing a good job. But I think, as time's gone on, there seems to be less and less of it. And it just sounds like she wasn't being very professional, especially if there was a chance that you'd be in earshot of hearing this. If you're on the other side of the hospital, or she's like in a break room where she knows there's no chance of you hearing it, then yeah, if she's talking to her colleague, why do these guys come to me with their dick problem, thinking it's neurological or whatever. But if there's any chance with you're in earshot, that's just not professional. Of course we're laughing about this, but if it was something serious and she was speaking to somebody in the hallway about something, it's like, oh, why do these cancer patients keep coming to me with their bullshit? You know what I'm saying? It's like, if that person can be in earshot, then that's clearly unprofessional. And so luckily it's, just something we could laugh at, but yeah.
Until I drop dead tomorrow. that's the problem.
We're still laughing.
But see, I get validation. But anyway, I'm assuming nothing like that has happened to you guys, but any bad doctor experiences?
Actually, yeah, my bad doctor experience has, I guess, to do with my Johnson also. The only real bad doctor experience I had was when I was in the Air Force and dealing with, Air Force physician. I guess at that point it would have been a flight physician. And most of my interactions with hospital staff and nurses has been pretty good. But this one time I remember I had to go in and I forget something was wrong with me. And at that point in the military, anytime you had something wrong, I think they were required to do an STD check also just to make sure. Because when I went in, early 2000s, it seemed like actually I have a funny story about that. So my first base in Nebraska, it used to be an old bomber base, Offutt Air Force Base, and that base is huge. It's spread out. It's also where Strategic Command is, where they plan out nuclear warfare. So this is a huge base.
That's where Bush landed on 9/11, isn't it?
I was there. I seen Air Force One land. We had F-16 scrambling about 300 feet overhead. And if you don't know what an F-16 sounds like, 300 feet off the ground, shaking buildings, because it was clear the airspace, get everyone out, and we're going to patrol the airspace as if we think an attack's coming. Free. I've told this story before, right? If not, I'll tell it sometime later. But yeah, I was there when Bush landed, and he was there for about an hour and a half. I seen Air Force One land. And again, I worked in the towers. So anytime we had VIPs coming, we'd know about it. But later on, our ops commander was like, because originally Bush, he was wherever he was reading to the kids, the famous video of him reading the story, getting whispered in the ear. Lord. He then went to a base that I had been to in Mississippi, because that's also a NAOC base, which is a National Airborne Operations Center. Basically, if everything went to shit, basically they have planes that fly in the sky 24/7. If nuclear war goes off, that way they don't even have to land anywhere, but they have little bases everywhere that they, fuel stop during under normal circumstances. But the system's built so that way Air Force One never has to land. And there's another plane that's kind of like Air Force One. They can get the vice president, secretary of defense, whatever. They can get there up in the air and they never have to land either. And there's one in the sky 24 hours a day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and there's always one on standby. So basically, if we go to nuclear war, they have everything kind of prepared, land, sea, and air. It's kind of like crazy dystopian shit where you think like they've really thought about what would happen if the Russians let go. And I mean, now maybe the Chinese or whoever. Anyway, so where was I with this story? Oh, Offutt Air Force Base, huge base. Like you said, Bush came there. So where the military dorms are for, the airman dorms where, basically everyone coming out of tech school and basic training where we stay is all the way on the other side where they try to centralize a lot of things. But because of the job I had, where I had to go see the doctors and nurses was all the way on the other side of the base. But also in that to go to was the communicable diseases part, where they would send all these airmen who were catching STDs because, again, early 2000s, we had a big thing about using contraceptives because people weren't. So I'd always have to have my appointments to go into that building. But anytime you see young airmen going into there, people would automatically assume, oh, must have caught the clap, must have syphilis, must have caught gonorrhea. So when you first get to the base, you have all these appointments because you have to set up your things. You have to, here's my, I'm sure everything's digital now, but back then I still had actual paperwork I had to hand in to people. So I'd have to get on the bus, go all the way on the other side of the base and like, okay, where are you going to? Oh, I'm going to building such and such. And like, oh, okay, yeah. And they'd see me several times going to this building. So like the bus driver and people who work over there must have just assumed I was catching STDs all the time. Anyway, one time I had to go there and again, bad doctor visit. The one time, anytime you catch like, pneumonia, and one time I had a real bad thyroid. My thyroids got inflamed. Something happened. And I was just sick as a dog. So I had to go over that building. But anytime you have anything wrong with you, they'd always do an STD check just to make sure. And I just remember, till this day, I remember this. This had to be, almost 20 years ago now. This one asshole doctor who was giving me the STD check. I remember back in the day, they used to have to stick that long Q-tip-like thing in to test for it. And I just remember this guy was just like, came in, seemed bothered I was there, was like, what's going on? I'm like, I got, I can't, this is swollen, that's swollen. And he's going through the questions, just being a dick to me. And then he's like, all right, we're going to have to do an SCD tech as if I was bothering him. Literally grabbed my, to get a good hold and in there, swabbed around to get the most painful experience I've ever had going to a doctor. And I was like, what the fuck is going on with this dude? And again, in the military, so I can't just go and cuss this guy out because he's probably a captain or a major or something. If he's a doctor, he's an officer. So it's not like I can't just say, fuck you, dude, and just cuss people out. But yeah, I just got up, was like, am I done? I got up, left. I remember I didn't even get because typically you have to sign a whole bunch of shit. I just got and left and went back to my dorm room pissed off. And eventually someone called me and said, yeah, Airman Saint, we did your test and we found out you have swollen thyroid, whatever, stay in your room for a few days, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that was probably the worst doctor experience I had. Military doctor, Air Force doctor. Wish I knew his name. Cuss his ass out right now. But
Jeremy, got anything?
I get stuck too many times for blood draws, but that's about it that I can think of.
Everyone's been so nice to you. They just feel so bad when you walk in.
I got a bad dentist. My dentist, when I was in high school, decided it was time to take my wisdom teeth out, and they were still inside the gums. So it was, they're going to have to cut through my gums to get to them, to take them out. And my dentist did not believe in knocking you out to do it, did not believe in giving you prescription painkillers afterwards, or in taking time off. I remember there was a girl that had it done a month before me. They knocked her out. She was out of school for a week, and they gave her Percocet to handle the pain. My doctor did it with Novocaine, gave me Tylenol, and told my parents to send me back to school that afternoon. And then I went back 2 weeks later to get the other two done. I'm like, looking back, I'm like, you motherfucker. What the fuck is wrong with you? But, that's what it was.
You never had anything shoved in your dick like Saint?
Not by a doctor.
They had to go up and use a scope on me. So they numbed me though. So that was good, but that was still very uncomfortable. I can't imagine a doctor not numbing you like poor Saint had to go through. Oh well. All right, let's take a quick break on these funny stories, and we'll come back and we'll cover whatever else we have to talk about. There's a lot of shit I want to touch on, but we got to talk about how bad the Steelers are. So.
Do we? I mean, it was on the screen. It's okay. We get it.
I will
Mike describe it.
I will talk about it. All right. You've been listening to the Usual Saints. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. This is Zeb Wells, and you're listening to the Usual Saints.
I mean, the Steelers are funny right now, but not in a good way. Welcome to the Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here with Saint and Jeremy. So, yeah, the Steelers just lost to the Bengals. And listen, I'm not going to dog on the Bengals. They're pretty good this year. But what was it?
Are they?
40? No, they are. They're 7-4? 7-4, right?
It was 36-3 at half, right? I mean, it was
31-3 at the half. They lost by, I think it was 41-10 or something like that. It was bad. Roethlisberger threw. Of course, they put up the stat before the game starts. Roethlisberger hasn't thrown an interception in 175 pass attempts or something. He throws 2. So yeah, I mean they didn't have Joe Hayden, so they didn't have him at corner, and they had this guy who kept letting some of these receivers make these big plays. Pierre, I think is his name. And yeah, it was a shit show. It was hard to watch, but whatever. It is what it is. 5-5-1. The only good thing they have is that they didn't lose to the Lions, so they do have that tie. They're still in the hunt until they get mathematically eliminated.
The Lions?
Yes.
I was trying to figure that out on Thanksgiving. I'm like, who the fuck tied the Lions?
So the Steelers start out 1-3, I think. They win 4 in a row, and then they tie the Lions. They lose to the Chargers in what was a good game, but they should have won it. They had it at the beginning. They let it all go away from them. And then they just lose in horrible fashion to the Bengals this week. So still in the hunt, but apparently they had the hardest schedule the remainder of the season. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll still represent, though. Minka Fitzpatrick, he got the interception today, so that was good.
Good thing for you that you're playing the team that doesn't pay attention to their team this week. You're scoring impressive.
No, I thought I was going to lose to them. I did not want to be. I didn't. It's like losing to the Lions or the Browns when they went 0-16.
You're going to win.
You think I am? Not by a lot though.
No.
Yeah, my guys didn't perform well on my second quarter. I let go of stupid fucking Cam Newton because I thought he was gone. I didn't think anyone was going to pick him up, and then he starts for the Panthers. It wouldn't have got me a lot of points, but better than having a wide receiver in there. But that's fine. We'll see. And the Bucks pulled one off.
Let me down. Yeah, I couldn't watch it because we fucking get Miami games all the fucking time here. God, I can't stand that shit.
It wasn't on Fox.
Not here. I got Miami. Miami and Carolina, I think.
Should have DirecTV.
Yeah.
Nah, don't get DirecTV. Trust me.
Mine is technically DirecTV. It's their streaming service. That's all that's available to me right now.
No, okay.
That's the only. That's what we have. So.
Why don't you go out and watch the game somewhere? You got that? Well, I don't know. I don't know where you moved to. Are you still down the road from that sports bar place in that little strip mall in the Publix? What's that place called?
Bonefish Max.
Bonefish Max. That place is all right. Could have gone and watched it there.
I could have.
You're not as big. You live in the state where your team plays. Like I would have season tickets, but that's just me.
See, if I was going to get season tickets to something, it'd probably be a hockey team. I enjoyed live hockey. There's more to see when you go to a live hockey game. I feel like watching an NFL game live, you'd miss some of the stuff that I'm so used to watching it on TV. The replays and all that. Yeah, they got them on the scoreboard, but I don't know. I think you'd miss some of that.
Oh, when you see it on the scoreboard, that's when you get to be part of the fans who are like, oh, come on, because they're seeing the one replay and a few different angles or whatnot.
I do that in my living room. It's just me. No one else is paying attention.
I was really hoping the Bucks are going to lose, but whatever.
They need to win a couple games.
Playing the Colts. I wanted to see Carson Wentz take him down a peg.
I was watching the other game and they went to halftime, so they started doing the halftime report, and the guy's like, "Yeah, and this one's all about Andrew Luck," and I'm like, "Andrew Luck? What the fuck is he talking?" And one of the other guys is like, "It's Carson Wentz, man." Oh yeah, that's what I meant. And then the next highlights the Dolphins, and the guys like, "Yeah, Dan Marino goes back to Pat." I thought that was funny.
Who was it? Who was it that was making these mistakes?
One of these guys. It wasn't. It must not have been Fox, because Fox, I think I would have recognized their voices.
Well, CBS, it would have been what? CBS. Boomer, Phil Sims.
I think Boomer might have done the Dan Marino joke. I don't know who was doing the Bucks Indy highlights.
Saint, the Dolphins won today. They beat the Panthers, right?
Oh, yay. Climbing our way back to mediocrity.
Hey, you got to make sure you don't get that draft pick.
Well, yeah, I got to make sure we're drafting in the middle of the pack again, because Lord, I mean, like not as if it would matter. I mean, we get a top 5 pick and we have an okay quarterback with an okay wide receiver who he played with in Alabama, which, again, if you don't have all the other Alabama things, doesn't really matter if you're drafting. I draft Alabama defensive players. Other than that, it's a crapshoot. I mean, maybe Derrick Henry, but unless you're the Patriots, then draft whoever you want, and you're eventually going to be good again. That's what's really going to bother me. If the Patriots end up being good again, it's like, motherfucker.
Right
I know.
They are impressive right now.
Yeah, I know. And I don't really think that quarterback is that good. I just think you end up in a system where Belichick and Patriots staff, they're just smarter than other people. And, another 20 years of dominating the AFC East, I guess. Jets suck. Bills, they've kind of fallen off, and the Dolphins are the Dolphins. So there you go.
Yeah, it's the Bills and the Pats fighting for that top spot in the East now. I thought it was the Bills to lose, and it was, and they've been losing it. So they just keep fighting back and forth, like 7-4, 6-4, whatever they are now for it. So,
I mean, we'll find out, because the Patriots, they have to play the Bills twice. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, it just looks like Belichick is just like, okay, it took me a year to figure out what to do after losing Tom, but we're back in it. I just think smart, trumps all. So
could be. Let's see. Who put the Black Friday on there?
I did.
Well, me.
What you got? What you want to talk about Black Friday? Obviously, it just passed. By the time this comes out, it'll have been. It's tonight. So it's just sorry. I'm used to putting it out and editing a few days in advance. Black Friday was 2 days ago. Right. I don't do it myself at all. I worked a little bit, but I don't do it anymore. I've worked enough retail to avoid that shit. But say, what do you want to talk about?
One tomorrow's Cyber Monday. So yeah, I don't do that right day after Thanksgiving. Let's, go hoard for $150 crappy TV that, is probably still overpriced or whatever. I don't do any of that stuff. My question was, so I got a question for you guys and see how you guys feel about it. I had recently purchased a new MacBook Air laptop for my wife because she needs one for her studies because they won't let her complete some of the assignments on an iPad. I got it a week ago, and right before Black Friday, Apple announces that, hey, we're giving a $100 gift card if you buy such and such, and one of the items was MacBook Air. And I thought about it, and I called Apple. I'm like, hey, I just bought this thing. It's still within the return period. Can you guys just give me the difference? And their answer was no. What you can do is go back to the Apple store, get a refund for that MacBook Air. They'll refund it, and then you can buy it or another one brand new again to get the $100 difference. Now, I debated whether I should, okay, $100. Should I go through the trouble of going back to the Macs? And again, their special was between Friday and Monday. So it's tomorrow's Cyber Monday. So you have to purchase between those 4 days. And like I said, I just bought it like a week ago. And, I was just debating with myself, is it cheap of me or is it frugal if I go back and go through all this just to get the $100 gift card? I'll fast forward to the end. I did, because I was like, I got nothing else better to do. So I woke up early Saturday morning, went all the way back. And like I figured, this is the only part, because like I figured, I knew it wasn't going to be a simple process because it almost never is with Apple or any of these people. So I went there, explained what I want to do with the guy, went all this, and I was there to purchase something else. So it wasn't just for this. But, I explained to him, had the receipt, did all this, said, yes, I backed it up. And if possible, I'd like to buy the same exact computer. And he's like, okay, yeah, we get it. We'll do it. Technically you're still within the refund. And it went through it and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it took over an hour, almost an hour and a half for them to like, okay, we have to do this, do that, blah, 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 sign this, here and there. Okay, now you get the refund. Now we have to go back and blah, 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 whatever, back on my Apple card. But I was just saying, do you think it was me being frugal, or would you have just been like, yeah, well, it is what it is. You missed out. And I was like, that's $100. And I tried to quantify it, be like, I guess if you made $25 an hour, is this actually worth 4 hours of my time? And it only took about maybe an hour and 10 minutes. Also because I think they have a lot of new people working at the Apple store, and, they had to call over a manager. And he's like, oh, this is what you have to do. And they have to do thing, whatever. But I just want to get your thoughts about it. I didn't feel like, I was like, but I wonder how other people would feel about it.
So I haven't done this with Apple, but at least seems like a lot of companies now will, oh, well, yeah, we just put it on sale. We'll go ahead and refund you the difference, because that's the quickest and easiest thing for them.
Right.
Rather than having you have to go through that whole, hey, come back in. But on the same thing, like I recently went on a cruise and we paid for a service on the cruise. And one of the days it wasn't working. It was down for the entire ship. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ask somebody about it. So I went to the desk. I'm like, hey, our ship wasn't working at all yesterday. Oh, okay. Well, what's your room number? Such and such. Okay, we'll credit you for it. You motherfuckers, they weren't going to credit me when they knew that shit wasn't working for a day unless I went and asked. So I got no problem being the guy that goes and says, hey, we got a better deal. I want my money. The thing I'm paying for ain't working. I want my money. Because hell, you're going to, if I don't use the service for a day, you're still going to charge me. If I can't use the service for a day, you shouldn't charge. That's my thing. Shit, man, I got no problem with it. They could have done it easier. They could have made it easier for you and just given you the difference, and they wanted to make you work for it, but I don't think it's cheap. It's, it's $100, $100.
Wait a minute. I'm forgetting. I'm blanking out again. It's not a Craig moment. What do we call him? What Mike does? A Chad. Is this our Chad? Is this me being a Chad? This is our Chad moment. So.
I mean, because, it's money.
Right.
Okay. You were going there anyway. If you had to make the trip there, it makes it a little different. But
right. I mean, I could have ordered online, but I was like, like sometimes with Apple and stuff, I like to get something I like to feel when I'm purchasing, if it's not like something off Amazon, I like to get, touch the electronic stuff before I make a big purchase. So Chad, what do you think? I mean, Mike, go ahead.
I have no issue with it. I mean, I get why they would say no and make you do it. But that's the bullshit way. Like a good customer service. Like, 'cause I'm taking this business management course now for my master's degree, which I probably won't be pursuing after this semester. But
what? We got to talk about that later, but go ahead.
But no, I mean, they talk about the various types of leadership and management and customer experience and all that kind of stuff. So like it would have made the most sense for them just to have been like, hey, yeah, it's within the return period, rather than, you having to basically have us have this model, which we can't sell new again. You get to keep it and we'll just give you the $100 because you're going to go do that shit anyway. Why wouldn't they? But, it's whatever their policy are. And maybe if you would have, did you ask for a supervisor or anything like I would have?
No. When I came in, they were all like, he's like, oh yeah, he goes, it's within the return period. And he's like, oh great. Cause another thing I've learned is I get both email and paper receipts, and I keep the paper receipt until, it starts to fade or whatever. And then I figure I got the email as a backup, but it seems to be a lot easier when you have the paper receipt. So I hand the paper receipt. He's like, okay, of course he's going through the process, but then they always hit a point, even when I'm buying something at the Apple store, they hit a point where it's like, what's this now? Hold on, let me call this guy over. And it's always, Greg or somebody that comes over. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about the DM, did the whole thing. The only thing, what was the one thing that there was one slight hiccup with it? I can't remember, but yeah, they seemed they were pretty cool about it. It wasn't like they were upset or any issue with it, but they were like, yeah, we have to do a full return. And then, the thing was that, he did say the easiest way to do it, we're just going to do a refund and do a refund as closed box, as if you never opened it on their end. And he said that way we can sell you the same one right back. So that way it goes right back into their inventory and we'll sell it right back. Because if I was returning something and I'd say that I'd opened it, he said, oh, then that's a whole nother process. And then we'd have to get you another one from the back. I'm like, whatever, do what you got to do. But yeah, it took a while. And then of course, well, I won't get into that, but yeah. I was just wondering.
Did you get the same one back?
Yeah. I had to turn off the Find My Mac, and you have to turn off a bunch of things. Like you have to go in, turn off the Find My Mac and all that kind of jazz, whatever. But then they refunded it as if I hadn't opened it. So it went right back into their inventory, and then they sold me the same one right back again. But I guess another thing that complicated it, because I got it on an Apple card and I'd gotten a discount because I turned in my old iPhone with it too. So, I had to redo it so that way it would get put back onto my Apple card, because I'm making monthly payments for the year on it and whatnot. So yeah.
But when you originally called about it, do you call the Apple store or like the Apple customer service number or what?
No, I called Apple customer service, and then the girl on there, she was pretty cool, but she was like, someone else just called me about it. She goes, what I'll do is I'll call the exact store and see what their policy is. Cause there's a chance that they might, but she says, I'm pretty sure you're going to have to go back and return it and see what happens. So then put me on hold. She's like, yeah, call the store. They said, if the customer wants, they have to come all the way back to the store and refund, get a full refund in order to get the Black Friday deal. So.
All right. Yeah. I mean, Apple makes enough money. They don't care if you would have gotten pissed off, and it's not like you would have stopped buying their products anyway. So.
Right. It's like, we got you.
Yeah. You're on the hook. You ain't going anywhere.
iPad, iPhone, Apple Watch, MacBook. Yep. And looking to buy. Well, I had to, stop myself because I want to buy a new computer, but I don't need one. So those new MacBook Pros are so sweet. So sweet. But
I got an iMac that's like 7 years old now. I got to buy something new eventually.
Those new MacBook Pros, the M1s, oh man, nice.
I'm sure it's expensive as hell though.
Yes, way expensive for technically a laptop. Yeah, you're paying like premium price, but
which is hilarious because their whole thing used to be pay less, expect more, or get more, or something like that. Do more, pay less, something like that.
Not anymore. But I mean, technically, they do put the Pro at the end of it, so I guess these are more Pro models. But according to all the YouTubers and benchmarks, it's lightly
we got
fast.
some iPad Pros at work, and they're nice with the pencil or Apple Pencil.
Yeah,
they're nice.
Yeah.
I got the Mac Mini and it has the M1, so it's nice. I really wish it would have been portable, so like I could have brought it over to Tampa last week. I wound up doing all my schoolwork on my work computer. So, and that took a very
Mac
fucking
Mini?
long time.
Mac Mini is like an iMac.
Mac Mini is just it's a flat looking computer. It's a hard drive basically. You have to buy your own monitors. You have to buy anything else you want. So I got 2 monitors. I have a CD drive, DVD drive in case I need it. I have a floppy disk drive to try to get some
drive. What the fuck?
No, because I had
floppy drive. What the?
I got a 3.5 floppy drive because Heather had some old floppies that she wanted to get some of her like writing and shit she did years ago off of. So I bought a floppy drive online, plug it in, works fine.
If he carved it in stone too, like what the fuck? Floppy drive,
got a real
drive.
At least I don't have a 5. Oh, well, listen, man, for my job, we don't really, whatever. I say that every time. But so I had to get some pictures from Vero Beach Police Department for something, right? Mm-hmm. What do they give me the fucking pictures on?
CD-ROM.
A CD. None of our computers at work have a CD. They could have given it to me on a flash drive. They could have emailed it to me. They could have put it in the cloud. Nope, none of that. They give it to me on a fucking CD. And so I've never looked at the pictures. Luckily, it wasn't like something that I had to make or break my thing on. I thought that was funny that someone was using that antiquated technology for something that like what I do, what I would need that stuff. So, let's see. You want to cover my Chad moment of the week? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I talked about it already.
No, not that.
So I went to Hurricane Grill last week after we saw Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I'm not sure if we want to talk about or if we want to save for USSR. I don't know if you're going to see that, Saint or Jeremy.
Not in the movie theater. I mean, eventually, but yeah, I'm not going to go to a theater to see it. So
okay. So we go there afterwards. It was just me and the wife and the kid. My parents went to the movie with us, which was surprising, but they didn't stay for dinner. So we go inside. It was cool out, so we wanted to sit outside on the patio. Whatever.
Wait,
the host.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is this one of the ones you've been banned from before?
I've not been banned from any. Thank you very much.
Asked not to come back.
It was the Vero location. I've never been asked not to come back there. Thank you very much. I just didn't go back there. So
never mind. Sorry.
I was about to say, asked not to come back. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's banned, but okay, if you want to be nice about it, but go ahead.
Jeremy likes to say that shit. That's not what happened at all. If you're talking about like Father's Day with your wife, that's when we got that server fired for fucking following us out of the restaurant because we didn't leave him a tip, or your wife left him like a $2 tip and he was pissed off about it. I called corporate and got him fired. So that was fun.
So were you at the theater?
We know Chad. He's like, that was fun.
Were you at the movie theater you've been banned from? Because you were banned from that one.
I wasn't banned. I was asked in an email basically that if I didn't like what they were doing, that I didn't have to come back. I never got trespassed or anything like that.
Sorry, semantics.
Wait, so an actual company says if you don't like what the fuck we're doing, you ain't got to come back here. Damn.
Yeah.
All right. So what had happened was, I think it was, I think it was the season. I think it was the season finale.
This segment is really like, it's really like feeding itself. It's like I'm like, you might not like, no, we've got tons. We've got Chad moments across the decades. But go ahead. So what happened at the movie?
What had happened was, I wonder if I could pull up the email. It's probably under my old email, so probably not. But so I went. Oh no, 10/8/17. No, yeah, it was before that. So I went to the theater in Vero, the new theater, and I saw 24 because they were like doing like free screenings of 24, like on the big screen, so you'd come purchase concessions and whatever, and they'd do various TV shows, and I think it was 24, and I forget what happened. Oh, I know what it was. It the SD? I think they were playing it on SD on the big screen.
Yeah, we went to see Indiana Jones first, and it was an SD, not digital, or it wasn't in digital like it was supposed to be.
No, yeah, it was scratched.
Yeah.
Yeah. They showed a scratch print when the whole thing of opening the theater was to have digital everything.
And then the next week or 2 weeks later, you went to 24, I think.
Okay. So Jeremy remembers. You can fill in if I miss anything. So I go to see 24. They're playing it in SD, like based off a Comcast box or whatever they had hooked up to the digital projector. Whatever. It wasn't filling the screen. It was not what I expected it to be. Yes, it was free, but like I'm just letting you guys know about it. I wasn't complaining. I wasn't asking for a refund or anything. So somehow like it got escalated to the point of like where I went past the local management because they pissed me off in some fashion.
Of course.
And I emailed, like, eventually got to the top. Like, I had like the CEO fucking emailing me saying, basically, yes, you don't have to come back to our theater anymore. You're welcome not to come back to our theater anymore. Or something like that. I wish I had the email. I'm sure Jeremy probably has it because he's had the same email address forever.
Looking right now.
Just type in Cinema World CEO or something like that. That's what I did. But so yes, Jeremy's accurate, but I was never trespassed. I've been back since. It's not been problems. There's no problems. No one's tried to kick me out of the theater.
I don't think I would. I'd be like, fuck you, Cinema World CEO. Like, I'm going to put plaster this all over every message board. I'd go to like every film review podcast and be like, yeah, I mentioned how bad their experience was, claiming so-and-so's being HD, showing me an SD quality. Yeah, I guess the not having to pay the free part does make you look a bit, ungrateful, but still, it shouldn't be like, hey, if you don't like it, you're free not to come back. Like, yeah, I might have a little Chad. I may get a little Chad in me, if that's the response I get. He can at least be like, oh, sorry you had a bad experience. We tried to do our best, blah, blah, blah. That's what you usually get.
Well, me. I mean, I probably wasn't the nicest about it either. So, I mean, I'm arguing back and forth with the CEO. So, listen, I get it. At some point, you don't want to deal with the dipshit customer who's arguing with you anymore. You got things to run. But
listen to me, Mr. CEO. When I get service for free, I expect it to be top quality free service. How dare you stiff me with your standard definition bullshit?
So, Jeremy, what are you looking up? Like 09, 08? Was it really that long ago?
Yeah. I can't find the one where he asked you not to come back.
But you found some of the other things?
I found like his first reply to you, and apparently I wrote him as well.
What did it say?
Oh.
His first reply was, "We can't recreate your bulb issue. The only thing we see scratched is the trailer. We couldn't. Sorry that the concessionist wouldn't refill your stuff. Send me your address, and I'll send you something for free."
Oh,
so Jeremy's probably right. Like it started off with that. It was probably like in a close succession of things. Like so, it started off with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or whatever the fuck that movie was called. Yeah. And me and Jeremy's horrible experience there and us complaining about that. And I probably was the repeat guy. Uh-oh. You find it?
I found it. I've been banned.
Go ahead.
See, even your email says I've been banned.
Okay. Bringing out the evidence. Yeah.
You don't need to show that to anyone else.
Also, please know that if you return to Majestic, you will kindly be asked to leave. Should you refuse, you will be arrested for trespassing. As this is a privately owned business, we have every right to choose who our customers are. That's right from Rick Starr, Vice President COO of Cinema World.
There we go. The plot thicket. It was a banning. You were banned and has not to come back to our private property. Look at this. This is great.
But I have no official trespass, so I'm not going to get arrested for trespassing if I show back up because I know how it works. Jeremy knows too. They have to show back up. They have to be trespassed. And then if they show up another time with that trespass form and their signature on it, then they can be arrested. So fuck you, Rick Starr.
But you were banned.
09. That was
you were banned. There was a banning. There was a please do not come back with your bullshit, Mr. Chad.
Oh, it wasn't even it wasn't even please. If you do, you will be asked to leave.
Right.
And he knew half the people working there, so they would know the second he walked in the door. It was awesome.
But it's not like that anymore because I've been back there dozens of times, and that's where we go to see most of our movies now. So
I wonder the next time you have an issue there, because it's you and you will eventually, and you send an email, if they have your name like on a list, to be like, no, that motherfucker ain't coming in. Tell him to get his ass out. We ain't doing shit for him. I bet you your name's on a list somewhere.
I'll have Heather send it.
Probably more than one place, honestly.
All right, so that's the movie theater, which is right next to the hurricane. So let's go to the hurricane story.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. That's a good one, unless you just want to leave it like that. But so my most recent one, we go outside, we sit down outside. I think the hostess came over and brought us menus and sat us down or whatnot. And it was a dirty table, and she just put the menus on top of all the crap that was left there from, like, it was like liquid and food and shit like that. It wasn't like plates or anything like that. And so we sit down. This other person comes over, first server comes over, takes our drink order. I asked for something that was on tap. Then this other woman comes over and she had our drinks, but she seemed like confused. And then she said, like, she didn't know what a certain sour was that I like to drink that's on tap there. So I told her what it was. She came back like 5 minutes later. She said they didn't have it. So I asked for something else. She still didn't know what that one was. She came back another 5 minutes later, same thing. Whatever. It wasn't particularly busy. She takes our orders. We get our food. You know, it's brought out by the kitchen staff or whoever brings it up. This woman doesn't show up again. Like, for the remainder of our time, we're there. Like, we're sitting there for like 30, 45 minutes waiting. Heather just wants to walk out. Heather never does that. So at this point, I kind of infer, hey, let's walk through the restaurant rather than just out the outside gate, like, to give them a chance. Because at this point, Heather's already gone inside and asked someone to get the waitress. She called and spoke to the bartender and said, hi, I'm calling you from outside of your restaurant. Can we please get this waitress we've been waiting for? This woman did not show up. We walk in. This other table also had same server, same issue. And so they're waiting too. And finally, all of a sudden, we see the server, and she comes over and she's like, oh, here's your check. You know, oh, sorry. I was talking to, you know, some people I'd known for a long time, and they were over there inside the restaurant. So she was sitting with some fucking friends of hers inside this restaurant. This woman was like in her 50s or 60s or something like that. And so the server. And so Heather's like, yeah, we're not paying. I want to talk to a manager. And so Heather actually.
So the server was in her 50s and her 60s.
Yes, correct. Probably 50s.
Okay.
I don't want to be judgmental, but she looked a little.
That stupid dumb bitch. She was. I don't want to be wrong, but the stupid dumb cunt. I think she was in her 50s, maybe. You know, go ahead.
So she gets the manager, and I've never had any interaction with this manager or anything before. And she goes over to the manager and she starts basically giving her side of the story about what's happening. Like, oh, hey, this is what's going on. And they were out there and they had their food brought to them and they ate their food and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I was over there, you know, doing whatever. So, like, instead of just the manager coming over and talking to us like we asked, she hears what this server has to say. And then she talks to my wife, and, you know, Heather's like, yeah, we haven't seen her. She's not done anything, you know, since we got our food. That's it. And so we haven't been able to get a check. So they gave us like 20% off, and Heather was apparently fine with that. I still wanted to get it for free, but whatever. And so we give our card to pay, and the server, apparently she's new. And so she can't even run the card. She doesn't know how to run a card. She doesn't know how to do anything. So we have to wait another 15 minutes for this bitch to run the card. And meanwhile, we're standing right there next to the manager and the hostess. And so I don't know what the fuck was going on that night. But the manager basically inferred that, yeah, she just started and she's not going to be here long. So, but yeah, that's my story of the week.
So you didn't get a single drink refill, nothing.
Nope. I didn't get any beer because they didn't have either of the ones that I wanted. So I had one unsweet tea, and that's it. And you know me, I drink a lot of unsweet tea. So yeah, I didn't get shit. The food was fine. The table was dirty. I mean, I guess we sat there when the hostess brought us there, so maybe it was our fault, but the table should have been clean. And I don't know, it was a whole thing. I didn't really chat so much.
Shit on the table?
No, like you know, like there's like rings from like liquids and stuff like that. There was some liquid on the table, and there's like food particles, like maybe some wing crust or whatever the fuck.
Nasty,
I don't know. Yeah, it was gross, you know, whatever. So Heather thought the hostess was high when she said, so maybe that's why she didn't notice. I don't know. But that's it. I didn't really chat too much on that, but that was our experience. That was a week ago, I guess. Yeah, it's been that long since we did the last show. So
I'm gonna say no, man. That's not a Chad moment. You had legit gripes. I like how then you had it. Well, I think the hostess was high. That's why her table wasn't cleaned off. But dirty table, waitress is obviously new, which again, sometimes you can tell when someone's new at the job, and I tend to give them a little more leeway. Like, hey, this person just started. You can tell maybe, or they're in training, but that's no excuse. And for her to just offer up the excuse, hey, I seen some people I had seen for a long time. Like, bitch, what the fuck they got to do with me? Like, I don't know, talk to them after work, but you're here to serve me. Like, you're the one who chose to get this job, grandma. Fucking, I don't care who the fuck you see. Come over and do your job. I would have, I'd have transformed the Chad moment. And I'd have told the manager, what the fuck? Like, I understand she's going to be fired. Like, and probably like everywhere else, they're probably hard up on staff because, everybody's hiring, everyone needs. But yeah, if the excuse is, oh, I've seen some people I haven't seen before, so I sat down and talked. Like, you should have lied to me. You should have been like, hey, I slipped in the back on some food or I had an emergency. Like, my mom called me with something. Not I seen somebody I know as I decided to take a 30-minute, 40-minute break. Fuck that bullshit.
I told Heather I thought she was probably out back doing meth or something like that. but
oh
wow.
Oh no, I didn't fucking tip her. I wrote a big 0.
I have a question. How long will you wait in a restaurant if nobody comes to see you once you sit down?
Oh,
Nobody
you mean like
at
the beginning?
Yeah. How long is okay to wait until you walk out?
It depends. Like, if I'm on a break and I have a time crunch, or if I got somewhere to be, ain't that long, man. I give you 5 minutes or less.
Let's just say you and Heather or the whole family is coming out, and it's just a normal night. You got time, and you go into a restaurant, and they seat you, and you're waiting for the waiter or waitress to come. How long do you wait?
I mean, honestly, it's probably the same. I don't think I would go past 10. If we're like, it depends on our moods too. Like, if we go to Universal on a fucking long day and we're out walking all day and we get sat somewhere and then no one fucking comes over to give us, take our order or drinks or anything like that, it's a little different. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. If it's busy, if it's not fucking busy, then there ain't no excuse. I hate tipping. I think we've talked about this as well. I don't agree with tipping. I think everyone should be paid a livable wage. Tipping is supposed to be something that's extra, not something that someone needs to rely on, to live. So
it's our Reservoir Dogs moments where I be like, what are you talking about? You better leave a fucking tip.
I'm Mr. Pink. Yes. I'm Mr. Pink. Mr. Pink's philosophy is ingrained in my soul. That and Bernie Sanders, paying everyone the livable wage, the democratic socialism and all that. But yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't wait long at all. I went to Ruby Tuesdays in Sebastian, for an example, recently, and I didn't even get sat. I was waiting at the hostess stand for, I don't know, less than 5 minutes probably, but I could hear like the staff in the kitchen laughing, like just having fun. No one was at the hostess stand. There was no server to be found. There were people sat at tables. There was no bartender to be found. So I just fucking walked out. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm like, I was done at that point. But I mean, what's your guys' numbers? Like I said, if I've sat at a table, I would like to hope less than 5, but I would probably give them up to 10, depending.
I'm with you. It depends how busy it is. If it's like super busy and you could just tell like it's just packed to the walls or whatever, I'm thinking about like 15, maybe even 20. If it's like, okay, we came here, it's, whatever, it's busy, things that happen. At the very least, someone should at least come by and like hand you menus, be like, or whatever. There should be at least some kind of greeting or whatever, if you don't already have your menus or whatnot. But if it just seems like it's just a normal, whatever, and you're sitting there, yeah, I'd say probably about 10, 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I'll be like, look around. I'll try to make eye contact with the next, waiter or waitress I see, be like, hey, we haven't got anything else. And after that, if that doesn't work after a minute or two, it's like, yeah, just get up and, take off. But your situation was different. You're saying you got your drinks, you got your meal, but then after you got it, it was a no-show. It wasn't, hey, do you guys need anything? You guys, can I anything else? How's the food? There was just no follow-up at all.
Right. I mean, it's basically we were going to dine and dash, and that's why Jeremy was asking. He knows how much I drink. So like I've dined and dashed before, and not like in a fun, oh, I'm a kid way. Like I've dined and dashed in a fat, like, hey, where the fuck is this person? No one wants to serve me. No one wants to give me my check. All right, fuck you. I'm leaving. That kind of thing. Right. I've done it very rarely, but I've done it. I try to instill like in Sophie, like Sophie was totally against leaving without paying. Sophie was like, no, we can't do that. So like, I'm glad that's like ingrained in her, like that's not the good thing to do. But like, it's fucked up, like, I don't know. But I mean, Jeremy, what were you, what about you?
I mean, I start twitching, about probably the 7-minute mark. Like, where the fuck are they? This is bullshit. By 10 minutes, I'm ready to leave. Usually the wife is like, no, hold on. Let's see if we can get somebody's attention. By that point, I'm already pissed. And getting someone's attention to me is, going to piss them off because they're probably going to get yelled at by whoever, is getting their attention. So they're going to be pissed off and handling my food. So I'm not a big fan of, like I've walked out a couple places because it's been, 15 minutes is probably when I stand up. I'm like, I'm done. And, walking out, hope you had a good meal. No, nobody ever came to our table. Oh, we'll take care of it. Hold on. No, fuck that. Now I'm not going to sit down and eat with people who I just got in trouble. Fuck that. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, once I get up, I'm leaving because I know the staff's not going to be happy with me. So I don't want them touching my food at that point.
I have thought about that too. It's like, once you get into the realm where I've already complained about something, then it's like, well, shit. Now I have people working on my food who, I'm annoyed with them. They're probably annoyed with me. And it's like, the whole, like you said, tipping and serving dynamic has become, off kilter. So yeah, I've thought about that too. And also, I've dealing with just the this has to do with more the socioeconomic part of it. The whole thought about how, Black people don't tip or African Americans don't tip. And me, because I used to work in an industry when I used to deal cars, I used to work in an industry where I lived off tips. So I tend to over tip, especially if you get like good to great service. I tend to over tip. And then if it's just okay service, I leave like a normal tip. And like I said, somebody has to really be shitty for me to leave a bad tip. But I know for a fact, I've actually caught this. You don't think it would happen, but I've actually caught leaving a big tip. Usually if it's cash, I guess now that I'm older, I usually pay more with card. But before, I've actually left like, one time, me and my wife and a couple of friends, we went out to eat for breakfast. Bill came out to about, I don't know, like 50 something bucks. We were just, everyone had like a quick breakfast place. I left a $25 tip because I thought the waitress did, really good, job. And I came back and left $25 and she goes, was there a mistake? I was like, no, that's for you. And she looked at me, and like, are you sure? And I could tell, and not saying the situation, but like me and, one of my good friends, we've talked about this because like you said, back in the day, and we've talked to people who worked in the restaurant industry and stuff. So it's not that taboo of a subject, but the idea that typically African-Americans or Black people aren't good tippers or they don't tip. So I tend to actually, it's kind of funny. One of my favorite podcasts is called the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. But anyway, so that issue comes into it. So when you get in a situation where it's like, yeah, I don't want to get into like, you're pissed off, I'm pissed off, whatever. I think, it comes to a point like, yeah, maybe it's better time just to walk up and go. Like say, fuck it. This ain't going to work out good for either one of us. So,
Jeremy, have we been together when we walked out of a place because we got sat and never served? I think we have, no?
I don't know if it was, I know we walked out of the one place because they were trying to, during the middle of COVID, they tried to sit us at a table for 8 between 2 other tables that were full of people.
It's like, oh yeah, Chili's.
You got empty tables that have signs saying, hey, we're not using this table, but you're putting 3 groups of 8 to 10 people directly on top of each other.
Yeah.
No, we'll go somewhere else. Thanks. Because my kid was not having it. He was not interested in staying there.
And just as the topper for that, by the way, at Hurricane, when the manager was talking to me, I said, when she told me the lady wasn't going to be there long, I said, she better not be, because if she's here next time I'm coming, I'm not coming back. so we'll see if
There's the Chad for you.
That's the Chad. Chat it up, Chad.
We'll see if that holds true. I'm planning on stopping by there maybe for lunch this week during the day. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you updated. But let's take a quick break. Jeremy has to let his dog shit or whatever.
That's right.
And so you've been listening to Usual Saints. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Fred Donovan Boy. Listen to the Usual Sense on your favorite way of getting a podcast.
But
I don't give a shit.
It's a casting spoiler.
I don't care, man.
Because you see it and you're like, oh, well, you just gave that away. Like, what's going on?
No, keep it to yourself.
I don't want to be the only one. Come on. Let me tell you.
No.
Ready?
No, I'm going to take off my headphones.
What now?
Sainte was just talking about something.
I was saying I pulled up the IMDb because, we're a professional podcast now. We don't go into the show all willy-nilly. And just by seeing the casting on the front page, it wasn't like I was scrolling, going deep dive. It was just right there. It kind of gave a spoiler away for this season of Hawkeye. That's all I was saying.
Wow.
I mean, it's something that I anticipated, and you probably have anticipated too, but I guess this is confirmation of it.
Oh.
But I don't want to know anything about it, so I'm telling him to shut the fuck up.
That's all right. Mike likes spoilers. He likes
I can't hold it. It's a secret. I'm letting it go, Mike.
No, you're not. No, you're going to ruin it for the viewers who haven't seen it yet.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah, we're recording.
I didn't even think we were recording.
Yes, we're recording. It's on and we're live streaming.
Okay.
All right. Welcome back to the Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here with Jeremy and Spoiler. Saint, he wants to try to spoil Hawkeye in the future, but I'm
not spoiling. I'm saying that IMDb on their front page is showing a casting, which sort of kind of it's something that we anticipated was going to happen, but with this by looking at the castings, like, oh, so I guess that is going to happen. So it kind of, I hate talking around this. Listen, Mike.
No. FYI, we're going to do the Usual Saints screen reviews on Hawkeye episode 1 and 2. Saint will get that out whenever. I assume he'll probably get it out before the next episode this Wednesday, but that's up to him. That's his baby.
Sure.
Wednesdays. I was wondering what night it came out.
Yeah, after Loki was quote unquote successful, and I don't know what metrics they're using for that, because I figure any show they put out is pretty successful. They moved it from Fridays to Wednesdays, or I think that's what it was. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that way people see it midweek. They're home. They can watch with the family rather than maybe on a Friday where they're seeing it.
Apple does Fridays, right?
I guess Ted Lasso's Friday. Yeah,
Apple does Fridays. Netflix sometimes. There was something how I think they tried to bullshit away because Wednesday is technically Odin's Day, right? So it's technically Odin's Day. So in a way, they're trying to say it tied into the Norse mythology. But I think Disney is a bit smarter with if you release it midweek, it gives the blogs and the podcasts and the YouTubers time before the weekend, so people are still talking about your shows, because normally like the best days is either Sunday, so everyone's talking about your show on Monday, or sometime during the week. That way the blogs still have time. If you release stuff on Friday, most people are doing things Saturday, Sunday, and then the blogs, whatever, don't get a chance to talk about it till Monday, and then you might get overblown with Succession or whatever else is on. So I think it's actually smarter for Disney Plus to be like, hey, we don't really put out that quote unquote, premiere TV content, the type of stuff that, the Succession or the, I don't even know what else is anything else good now, or what else?
Narcos is good on Netflix.
Well, Narcos came, but go ahead.
You're avoiding new releases in the movie theater though, as well, by putting it on Wednesday instead of Friday.
Right.
They're not competing against themselves when they put a movie out.
Yeah. So, that gives them all of Wednesday and Thursday for the podcast and the blogs to talk about their stuff. And then you can talk about whatever. It'd be interesting to see on this same note if I think Netflix is going to take a different approach with Stranger Things. I think they were going to probably release it in blocks, because I think they realize some of their top tier premiere shows, when they release it all at once, when they do the binge model, you get people watching, but you just don't get the hype because everyone's watching at their own pace. I don't remember, because I think I was on the boat. Did Netflix release Squid Game all at once, or was that a week by week thing?
I didn't watch Squid Game, but I think they released their thing has always been released all at once. So, I mean, I would be kind of shocked if they do that with Stranger Things, but we'll see, I guess.
They've done like where they're releasing in chunks, in batches, where there's been a few where they've released 3 episodes, then the next 3, then the next 3, which is what I think they're going to do with Stranger Things. I think Netflix realizes that, hey, you know, what was it? It was a series of movies, and they also said, what was it, Fear 1984, something like that?
Yeah, but that's a little different. I didn't watch them, but I know what you're talking about. That's a little different. That's like 3 movies that they've put out like at separate times. It's almost like, and they filmed them all at the same time or whatever. They had them out within a few weeks of each other, I think. But.
Right.
Yeah, but like you're saying, if they release it all at once, you and your coworkers are never at the same place. You might have watched the first episode. They're on episode 5 already. But if they do it week by week, you get people talking about it more because they're in the same place, or at least it's easier to know that, hey, you know, I'm not 3 episodes ahead of you, or at least I shouldn't be because you've had 5 weeks to watch them. If you're on episode 2, fuck you, it's your fault.
Right. So I think that's the way Netflix, I think with their bigger properties, they're going to do like in batch chunk. They're not going to go week by week because their model just says, hey, we need to keep pumping as much as we can. But I think for certain things that really pop, I think they're going to try to go like, you know, 3 episodes, 1, 2, 3, you know, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Does Amazon do that? I can't remember with The Boys.
No, that's weekly.
Jack Ryan was weekly.
It was weekly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Amazon does weekly. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll review Hawkeye, but you know, I don't know that it makes it easier to keep up, Jeremy, because you know we did Loki this summer and we never had you on doing Loki because you would never. Did you even ever watch it?
I have not.
It's so good, man. And you have to watch it to see what's going on in the rest of the Marvel universe in the future. It's probably what Saint's leaning towards, but I'm not going to ask him about it.
No. It has to do with the Marvel movie and, you know, the end of a movie and, you know, the end credit scene.
All right. Did any of you watch What If, Saint? I know you did, probably, right?
Come on. You know me. Who are you talking to?
I know you say that every time, but I always don't want to assume. Jeremy, did you watch What If? Do you know what it is? Do you know what we're talking about?
I know what it is, but I have not watched it.
It was actually really entertaining. I was surprised at how much I liked it. The different alternate universes and, you know, the way they played with things. My favorite thing was T'Challa as Star-Lord. Because the way he had an impact on everyone, like seeing Thanos as basically a nice guy, is fucking it was awesome. But no, Ultron as with the Infinity Stones is pretty crazy too. So
that was kind of nuts. Question: Were you ever? I guess not. Did you ever read or collect the What If comic books back in the day?
No.
Right. So you know, from back in the day, and of course, like a dumbass, I never kept them. But I used to. My biggest comics were X-Men #1, Spider-Man #2. Then I jump around the Marvel universe. It was never Captain America because I found the most boring character. Never really an Iron Man or a Thor. But I used to dabble into Hulk and a lot of the other things. But I used to love the What If because they would just take crazy batshit ideas and just like, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if, you know, and at first, you know, it started kind of like a normal, like what if Dr. Doom was Reed Richards and he had the Fantastic Four, that kind of deal, to like later on, you could just tell they're just fishing for story ideas and it's all over the place. And it was actually one of my favorite comics back in the day. Never was as actually that's also where Marvel Zombies come from. And they did an episode of it in this series, but it was never supposed to be connecting in any way, even though Wandu, the Watcher, he was always in that comic. So I've always been a What If fan. I thought I love the animation. You know, I love, you know, seeing different. I like how some studios are getting away from that Disney Pixar look. DreamWorks has seemed to dominate animation for a while. It seemed like there's a lot of
moms having fat asses,
right? Or you know the humans look real but not realistic. And then I think Pixar's kind of gone to like almost not trying to be photorealistic, but getting to a more realistic, you know, looking people. And then DreamWorks being kind of like, you know, big heads, big whatever, kind of like the Despicable Me kind. But I like how there's a lot more animation studios out there trying different things from Spider-Verse to what we've seen in What If. So I like seeing like more creative, things going on. So I like that they decided to go a different route with the animation. And yeah, some of the stories are really good. Even though the easiest thing is to be like, well, what if Thanos was a good guy instead of a bad guy? But just seeing how powerful Ultron really could be. And lesson on What If, man. I think Marvel's really harping on like everything leads back to Tony Stark. Like everything leads back to everything he touches. Actually, as brilliant as he is, he fucks up a lot of shit with his shit. So no, I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, and technically, What If? Go ahead.
Star-Lord's a motherfucker as well.
What does that mean? Did he fuck someone's mother?
No, fucking screwed up the plan.
Oh,
plan with the gauntlet, like
yeah. I saw people talking about that. Did we talk about this last week, Saint? About I saw people talking about how Thanos, maybe it was you, he got on the planet where Spider-Man and everyone were going to take the glove from him, and he said something to Tony Stark about "I know you" or something. Did you say that last week, or did I? Okay.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Jeremy wasn't here, so I have to try to figure out where I heard that. But anyway, I bring up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No. What were you saying? You heard people talking about it?
It must have been just you saying.
Oh no. Well, no, we talked about it because I haven't seen Eternals, and in the comics proper, Thanos is an Eternal with the deviant variant gene inside of him. So his mother was an Eternal, and he came out looking the way he did, and he was peaceful. And whatever happened in the comic books, Thanos is actually trying to impress the living personification of death. So in the way to impress her, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to kill half the universe in order to impress her." And really, he's having hallucinogen. It's all different than I think the movie. The MCU handles it a lot better. It makes it a lot easier to digest. But he still called the Mad Titan. I was assuming that maybe the reason he said that had something to do inside the Eternals, even though I believe, spoiler alert, at the end they did show Thanos' brother, correct? What's his name?
Star Fox or Star-Lord?
Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Star-Lord's already there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, Star Fox. It's fucking Harry Styles and his little companion, who's voiced by Patton Oswalt, your boy from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, I have that picture. Yeah, I remember. That's wow.
You ever take a picture of Saint with a celebrity? Saint's gonna try his best, and he's gonna look cool, but he can't have that smile. He can't seem happy. He's gonna be like that. He had that look, man. He's standing next to Patton Oswalt, but he was the coolest dude. He didn't have
he's super nice guy.
Yeah, they love him in the Marvel universe. He was all over the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatnot.
Yeah,
he's voicing some. I don't know what I think it's Pip or something like that. I'm not familiar. Again, don't read the comics, but
I know who he is. He actually plays a much bigger role in the Eternals. It's one of those things where this character should be a complete goof, but he actually plays a big role in the Eternal story. I don't know if they're going to do that in the movie or in the MCU, but I know in the comic books he did. But yeah, he where are we going with this? Oh yeah, Thanos' brother. Like he was there with Thanos' brother, so we'll see where they go with that. But I was just interested to see if that had anything to do, because like you said, Tony says, do I know you? Do we know each other? And Thanos like, oh yeah, I know who you are, Stark. And it's like, they never really explained like what he meant by that, So
I have to go back and watch Infinity War again.
I remember him saying something to that effect, where you're well known or something to that effect, that for some reason Stark is known in the universe outside of Earth.
Right. So everything leads back to Stark fucking shit up. That's the lesson. That's always the lesson.
Well, I brought up What If because as I put on the topic list a few weeks ago, so it's not new news or anything, but I guess season 2 is coming out next March. So just in a few months here after season 1 just ended recently. So I was pretty shocked about that. I mean, they obviously had it in the can. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to see what else they do.
There was one episode that they filmed. It was supposed to be 10 episodes. There was one episode that filmed. They animated for this first season, and they voiced it, but for some reason they couldn't get everything done in the deadline. And it was an episode. It deals with Tony Stark, and I believe I'd have to look it up, but I know there was an episode that was filmed for season 1 that they couldn't finish. everything with, so they bumped it to season 2. I do remember hearing that. So
we'll see. It's entertaining. Jeremy should watch it.
Well, I got one question about what's going on with Black Panther 2. She injured herself. What's going on?
Yeah, she got hurt doing stunts, and it's worse than they thought or something. So yeah, that's getting pushed back. Was that going to be released next summer?
That was supposed to be July of 2022. Yeah, that was supposed to. Well, the first thing with Letitia Wright was the whole thing was like she's very anti-vax. Yeah. She has views. Very, and again, I'm not like I said before, I'm not against people, not wanting to get vaccinated or whatever. But she was the type that was spreading conspiracy theories, how this vaccine, how the government wants to get something in your body so they can do put on the tinfoil hat, because that's the only way the government can get stuff into your bloodstream, not to mention the government could just, they could just put stuff in fluoride or in the tap water if that was the plan. But no, we're going to make this big deal. But she was spreading that kind of loony conspiracy theory stuff at the same time where Disney and, Marvel Studios, well, we need you on set and set protocols for all these unions, say you have to be vaccinated and something. So there's a big issue. But then, so she got hurt. But I think the issue is it's either her leaving England and coming back to US or something happened where she's unvaccinated. So it became a big issue about her traveling abroad back and forth because she went back home to heal from getting hurt. And then the whole issue is can she come back and whatever? I don't know. It's I think it's really going to depend on how much she's involved or her character series involved in the plot of going forward. Because obviously there's going to be a Black Panther 3 or some kind of Wakanda, something to deal with Wakanda going in the future. And I really feel like eventually you just may, they may just bump that character off if it becomes just too much of an issue. It's like, look, we're here to make money. We're here to do this. They respect people's things, but it seems like, and people have said, it kind of feels like she's, for her own reasons, is making things more difficult than they need to be. It seems like they've made accommodations, but she's very in her feelings about, hey, the whole vaccination thing. So that's where that situation is right now.
Yeah. I kind of want to wrap up the podcast because we've gone pretty long already. But what do you guys, obviously it's all kind of speculation unless you've heard rumors or anything, but what do you guys think is going to, since we're talking about Black Panther 2, what do you think is going to happen? They already said that T'Challa is never going to be replaced by any other actor. So it's going to be someone else. I don't know the comics at all. Sure. He could be the next Black Panther because she's smart enough, and all of them are smart, and they're all advanced. But what do you think? Where do you think the next one's going to go?
Real quick, not to be long-winded. Shuri in the comic book series does become Black Panther for a while T'Challa is still technically king. She becomes Black Panther. I think in this one, and there've been a lot of shooting in MIT and stuff like that. I think they're going to, I don't know, something happens to T'Challa. They're going to be doing research. Maybe it might have something to do with Namor, the submariner, because in the comics, a big thing is Wakanda versus Atlantis. That's a big deal. But all that to say, I think eventually they will recast, and the way they're going to get around it is we're going to get a T'Challa that's not of our universe, but a different multiverse T'Challa. And that's how they're going to bring Black Panther back. That's my thoughts of it. We're going to get Black Panther, but it's not going to be technically R, whatever the MCU, if it's 616, I don't know what designation they're giving it. But we're going to get a T'Challa back, but it's going to be from a different multiverse.
See,
Jeremy, your thoughts?
I think they're going to stick with female because it gives them another female they can bring in. They got a couple options already that are there. There was T'Challa's wife. I don't know her name, or head of the guards. Either one of them could fill that role if need be. Okay. That's it. That's my theory.
I see what they got to kill him off. I think they got to kill him off. I think in the next movie, T'Challa is going to be dead. They're going to be opening it with a funeral or something like that. I don't know how they're going to explain it, but you can't. That can't just be hanging over everyone's head for a fucking movie or 2 or 3. He's dead, and if they're not going to recast him, and I understand what Sainte's saying, they could bring in someone else, especially with the multiverse thing. Totally get that. But would the people of Wakanda of this universe take T'Challa from a different universe into their ranks?
He's going to have died a hero or a martyr or of some type. Hopefully in my opinion. Hopefully they do something kind of honor the the actor, because I mean he did a phenomenal job. It sucks what happened with him, so hopefully they do well with that. Don't just gloss over it in the first 2 minutes of the movie and it's gone. I assume it's going to be a huge part of the plot, how everyone's reacting to the loss of T'Challa. That would be, I would assume that's how they'll write it, or how it would kind of drive the plot of the movie. But
yeah, like I said, I think, or they might make it that way. T'Challa somehow is lost in the multiverse and they bring forth a different T'Challa. I think that character is just too important. And it's, yes, you can have, I mean, there's comic books, World of Wakanda. There's tons of things you can do with Wakanda, but just getting rid of the Black Panther character, I think the character is actually just far too important, for where they can go, and there's going to be some kind of Wakanda series on Disney Plus. And I think it's just as sad as it is. And, I'm devastated when I learned that Chadwick passed, but I mean, there've been multiple Batmans, multiple Spider-Mans, and those are some of the biggest, multiple Supermans, and those are some of the biggest iconic comic book of all time. I mean, hopefully do something smart and respectful to explain why we don't have the Chadwick T'Challa anymore. But I mean, I don't think there should be an issue with recasting it, as long as it's done, with some smartness and some sensitivity to honor what happened with Chadwick. So, and I think the multiverse is such an easy out now. I mean, we're going to get, spoiler alert, 3 Spider-Mans. I promise you, we're going to see 3 Spider-Men on screen at once come next month. So, we can.
All the villains are going to be there. So, yeah, the other Spider-Mans will come to help him out because he can't do it on his own.
I believe it when I see it.
Easy plot. Easy plot to predict.
Nah, man. Jeremy, you missed our talk about the Spider-Man trailer. Have you seen the new Spider-Man trailer?
I think so.
The one where Lizard and Sandman and Electro are going to fight Spider-Man on top of the Statue of Liberty. You see Lizard get his face punched in the Brazilian trailer. So Lizard, if you watch the trailer, Lizard's jumping at no one. I'm sure you've read the articles, Jeremy. Lizard's jumping basically at no one. Spider-Man, Tom Holland's jumping at Sandman. Electro, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. And so in the Brazilian trailer, apparently you can see Electro's face go like backwards like this because he's getting punched by someone. And who the fuck are they jumping at? So yeah, I'm sure the Spider-Man are going to be in it. It's still going to be an exciting moment. Everyone's going to cheer when it happens. And we're going to go see it in 4DX. Jeremy, Saint, if you guys want to go see it, I can get us tickets.
I got to see when it is.
It'll be probably the Saturday, the 18th or whatever, after it comes out.
Of December?
Yeah, 4DX up in Orlando, Point Orlando.
Nah, probably going to go on a Monday or Tuesday with the family at a afternoon matinee showing because, I'm here. They go to homeschool. So trying to avoid as many people as possible, avoiding crowds. But I'm going to see the weekend after. And, I mean, how many spoilers? Like I said, we already know. It's even Andrew Garfield's like, I'm tired of talking about Spider-Man. Like the look on his face is like, yes. I mean, he was promoting Tick Tick Boom, but he wanted to say, yes, I'm in the new Spider-Man. Leave me the fuck alone. So. But
he's been pretty consistent saying that he's not in it. I don't know. Yeah, you think he's a fucking liar?
Nah, I think Kevin Feige's looking out. You motherfuckers like. You motherfuckers want to make some money?
Tom Holland talk to anyone. He can't keep a secret.
Tom Holland's been good ever since he started spoiling everything. But we talked last week about Tobey Maguire and how he's kind of blackballed. And so, I don't know. It'd be interesting if they did bring them all back. I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion at this point, but we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up because we're gonna go record Hawkeye. So let's see. You can go to our website, theusualsaints.com. You can check out our social media, which we are not doing a good job of posting on. We're on Instagram, Facebook,
Maybe Vinny can help out with that.
Yeah, stuff. That'd be nice. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Usual Saints. Phone number is 240-724-6877, I think. I don't know. It's 240-6 or 4 Saints. I don't know. What the fuck I just said. And Saints with 2 S's. That's what it is. And yeah, so thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week and talking about some more bullshit, whatever happens in the week in pop culture and whoever dies. We didn't have any deaths this week, but that's fine. We had a lot of shit to talk about.
Sorry to disappoint you.
The Chad moment took up a fucking entire B block.
Well, they're good moments.
It was good. It's good. It's always good.
All right, so even listen to Usual Saints. Thanks for listening. For Saint and Jeremy and myself, have a good one.